Freedom Socialist Party.
It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you to the organizers for bringing us all together today. To a large degree, many of us are saying some of the same things about what socialism would look like and so forth, but it's important to really get that focus. I'm going to talk a little bit more about what the Freedom Socialist Party is, what we think socialism would look like, and how we think that all of us who want it so desperately can get there. In addition to the theories of Marx and Engels and Trotsky, we have developed some particular theories of our own, one of which is recognizing the importance of feminism in the struggle for socialism, socialist feminism.
Yeah.
And the other is the theory of revolutionary integration, which applies to the racial struggle here in the United States and the black movement in particular. We are internationalists who believe that building solidarity across borders is the only way workers, indigenous people, and all who are oppressed can save ourselves and our planet, our common home.
Yeah.
We adhere to Trotsky's theory of permanent revolution, which is recognizing that the process of worldwide, uninterrupted and uninterruptible struggle of all oppressed people, led by the proletariat for economic, social, and political liberation, is necessary. It takes aim at the capitalist state, its institutions, and the vast interlocking system of human and social relations that form the matrix of world bourgeois repression. It bases itself on the mutual interdependence of the proletarian struggle and all other liberation struggles. Once revolutions start, according to Trotsky, that process does not stop. It does not. The Soviet Union did not come out of a country that had had a long period of bourgeois democracy. It came from feudalism and fairly quickly through that stage into attempting to win the gains that should have happened under bourgeois democracy, freedom of speech, the press, all of the individual freedoms that our country espouses, doesn't give us, and so forth. Anyway, in addition to that, we think that the American Revolution is key to international revolution because until we defeat U.S. capitalism, it will continue to prevent and defeat revolutions elsewhere.
That's
We've
right.
seen the last century of that behind us. So what will socialism look like? Marx and Engels explained that the only constant in human history is change. As the modes of production and levels of technology evolve, the relationships among classes of people, legal systems, societal institutions, and cultural expressions also change. Early communal societies have been replaced by slavery, feudalism, capitalism, and hopefully soon to be followed by socialism and ultimately communism, and perhaps something beyond that that we can't even imagine right now. Under capitalism, most everything that people make and the services and activities that facilitate that production are owned and controlled by a tiny ruling class that is becoming more obscenely wealthy by the minute. Others have gone into detail. I will just say that to give some perspective on that, the $7 trillion that a few of them now hoard and control would create a pile of $100 bills over 400 miles high. Socialism would be the opposite of all of that. Production would be nationalized and socialized, as other people have said, not for profit. Think about what we could do with that 400-mile pile of cash and with everything else that we produce after we take charge. That will end poverty, homelessness, disease, climate destruction, bigotry, war, etc. Under socialism, true democratic decision-making would come from the grassroots up. This would determine how to meet human needs and protect the planet. When people are doing that, instead of wastefully creating weapons of mass destructions and other unnecessary commodities and the advertisements for them, the length of each person's workday will shrink, and there will be much more time for education, creativity and enjoyment. So how do we get to socialism? But most left groups, as we're hearing today, agree on the urgent need for it. But we have different views of how to get there. Here are some of FSP's ideas. First, we believe that achieving socialism will require a social revolution that overhauls society from the bottom up and completely eradicates capitalism's means of production, its political system, and all of its institutions. This will take time, and it won't automatically happen the minute revolutionary forces take charge. We are not anarchists. We agree with Lyndon's explanation that the role of a truly democratic state under workers' control would play a very important part in the transition to socialism, sort of the dictatorship of the proletariat that our comrade previously described.
Yes.
Next, we think that capitalism can't be reformed out of existence because exploitation of the entire working class is hardwired into it. We do fight for reforms because everything we win helps the working class survive and have more capacity to engage in revolutionary struggle. We win some, but we have to keep fighting to keep them or to regain them. Championing the reforms that the system could implement but won't exposes the incalcitrance of the system and reveals the need for revolution. We agree with Lenin that the vanguard party plays an essential role in achieving revolution. Lenin describes such a party as an organization of professional revolutionaries capable of lending energy, stability, and continuity to the political struggle. The party needs to be tightly organized, centralized, and democratic. Its role is to study history, analyze current conditions, and figure out how to unite the forces that are rising up against the system. Without this leadership, the collective power of the millions who keep rising up against tyranny will simply dissipate, just like what happened in a steam engine if the steam blows into the air instead of being channeled into driving the pistons. The FSP doesn't claim to be the vanguard party for the whole world. We do operate according to Lenin's description of such a party, and we seek to bring others together in a vanguard strong enough to win the international revolution that we so desperately need. Our program is multi-issue because that we believe that liberation for all who are oppressed under capitalism cannot be attained without their participation and leadership.
That's right.
The oppression of women goes back to the ancient overthrow of communal matriarchal society by private property, and this oppression remains a fundamental condition of capitalism's survival today. The FSP and our sister organization, Radical Women, organized for the total emancipation of women on every level of life. The multiple afflictions that women as members of other oppressed groups that propels us into leadership within every social movement. The profit system also survives by oppressing and super exploiting LGBTQ plus people who resist patriarchal family forms. Their leadership also brings militancy, strength, and leadership to the fight for all-encompassing equality. I mentioned that we are always involved in fighting racism as an integral part of the fight for socialism. Our theory of revolutionary integration basically says that we think that it's necessary to call for that instead of trying to simply win reforms within capitalism or to create a separate black nation. The historic direction of the Black freedom movement has been against segregation and discrimination and has been pointed at the heart of capitalist power. This connects the black struggle to the quest for revolution, not to assimilation into capitalist America. Therefore, the black struggle and black leadership are indispensable to our fight here. Within the FSP, we have a Comrades of Color Caucus, which provides leadership, correction, analysis, and proposals for action in the movements and on the issues of people of color. We also call for united fronts as a powerful means to fight the overwhelming attacks that we're being faced with by capitalism today. We don't want to make the same mistake that happened in Germany when the communists and the socialists fought each other instead of uniting to defeat fascism.
That's right. That's right.
The United Front is open to all who agree with its aims, but it must be led by the working class, not capitalists or bureaucrats. It is democratic, it operates with mutual accountability and respect, and it builds the kind of power that the state fears most: collective, disciplined, and determined. We're involved in the Community Self-Defense Coalition today, which is mainly fighting ICE.
Yeah.
All levels. I encourage everybody who's not part of that coalition, there's over 80 organizations in it, get involved. This is a very important story. And my time is up. Thanks to my little timekeeper down there. We have a literature table in the back. Do visit us. We have a website at socialism.com. Our books and pamphlets are published by Red Letter Press. We have a newspaper, the Freedom Socialist, and our hall is located at 2122 West Jefferson Boulevard. Thank you very much.
Woo!